You need to divorce her, my mother-in-law sneered, eyes glinting with something dark and satisfied. She's just using you for your money. Honestly, I never understood what you saw in her. The words hit like a slap, cold and sharp and brutal, breath-hitching, hands trembling. I stared at my husband, searching, desperate, eyes wide and raw, and pleading for him to say something, to tell her to stop, and to defend me, to at least God, to anything other than sit there, eyes fixed on the floor, lips pressed tight. But he didn't. Not a single word, not a single glance. Just silence, heavy and suffocating and damning, echoing louder than any insult she could have thrown. See? She scoffed, voice light and condescending, lips curling. Even he knows I'm right. If he loved you, he'd say something. But he won't, because deep down he knows the truth. I laughed, sharp and bitter, a sound that scraped raw and brutal in the silence. Right, I shot back, voice flat, because manipulating your son is definitely a sign of maternal love. Her eyes narrowed, lips curling with something dark and smug. Oh, sweetheart, she purred, voice syrupy sweet. I don't need to manipulate him. He's just finally seeing you for what you really are. My breath hitched, throat tight, chest burning, hands trembling at my sides, because the truth was raw and brutal and undeniable. He wasn't going to defend me. Not against her, not against anyone. And if that was how it was going to be, then maybe it was time for me to stop defending him too. And the days that followed were a blur, angry whispers, slamming doors, the suffocating silence of a house divided. My mother-in-law moved in under the pretense of helping out, but every day it felt more like a hostile takeover. Furniture rearranged without asking, closets emptied and refilled with her things, my kitchen turned upside down and back again. Oh, don't mind me, she'd chirp, voice syrupy sweet, lips curling. I'm just trying to make things more presentable. I scoffed, sharp and bitter, breath hitching, eyes glinting. Right, I shot back, voice flat, because God forbid anyone mistakes this place for mine. Her eyes glinted, lips curving with something dark and victorious. Well, she purred, voice light and condescending. You won't have to worry about that much longer, will you? She made it clear. Every sneer, every snide comment, every backhanded compliment. The dinners where she'd sit between us, fork clinking against porcelain, voice light and syrupy as she reminisced about better times, about ex-girlfriends who were so much sweeter, who knew how to keep a house. My husband sat silent, eyes fixed on his plate, hands trembling, voice a ghost of a whisper, and every time I bit my tongue, let the words burn in the back of my throat, let the silence stretch and sting and suffocate, until the day I found the texts, hundreds of them, thread after thread, her name at the top of every screen, every message dripping with disdain and manipulation. You deserve better than her, one read, her words scrawled in neat little bubbles. She's using you. You can't even see it. Just say the word, another said, cold and final. I'll get the papers ready. My breath hitched, eyes burning, hands trembling, stomach twisting with disbelief and something dark and raw. Because it wasn't just her, it was him too. His replies, short, hesitant, weak. I don't know, Mom, one read, his words small and raw. It's complicated. I just need time to think, another said, brittle and wavering. The pieces clicked. Every cold glance, every silence, every excuse to stay late at work, every time he flinched when I spoke his name. She was playing him, pulling the strings, whispering poison, turning every fight, every cold shoulder, every slammed door into ammunition. And the worst part wasn't even the lies. It was how easily he believed them, how quickly he let her words slip under his skin, let them twist and tighten and choke until the man I married was a stranger with my husband's face. The final straw came on a Sunday, rain hammering against windows, her voice a sickly sweet hum as she folded my clothes without asking. Oh, don't worry, she cooed, eyes glinting. I'll have everything packed for you by the end of the week. I laughed, sharp and bitter, eyes glinting. Pack your own damn bags, I snapped, voice flat. I'm not going anywhere. Her face twisted, lips curling, eyes dark and raw. Don't be ridiculous, she sneered, voice rising. You think you can just stay here after everything you've done? Oh, sweetheart, I purred, voice syrupy. You're the one who's overstayed her welcome, not me. When he came home that night, hair damp, tie askew, eyes rimmed red, he didn't even look at me. Just brushed past, shoulders hunched, throat bobbing, voice small and brittle. She's just trying to help, he mumbled, words slurred and weak. Maybe we should just give her some time. I scoffed, sharp and bitter, a laugh slipping out that tasted like bile. Time? I shot back, voice icy. She's not here to help. She's here to push me out. His breath hitched, eyes darting, hands trembling, voice cracking. You're being paranoid, he rasped, voice tight. She just wants what's best for us. I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting with something dark and raw. For us? I cooed, voice syrupy. Or just for you? The words stung, cold and final and brutal, because the truth was raw and undeniable. He wasn't just choosing her. He was choosing to believe her, choosing to let her turn our home into a battleground, choosing to let her words twist and choke and smother every breath. But if he thought I'd just roll over and let her win, he was dead wrong. Because the truth was simple. If she wanted a war, then a war was exactly what she'd get. The dining room was suffocating, air heavy with silence, candles flickering, eyes darting. My mother-in-law sat at the head, fork tapping a slow rhythm, lips curled with something dark and smug. My husband sat beside her, eyes downcast, shoulders hunched, hands trembling beneath the tablecloth. You really should reconsider, she drawled, voice syrupy sweet, eyes glinting. There's no shame in admitting when a mistake's been made. I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. Right, I shot back, voice flat. Is that what you tell yourself every time you look in the mirror? Her eyes narrowed, lips twitching, fingers clenching around her glass. Don't be crass, she sneered, voice cold. This isn't about me. It's about my son, about his future, about making sure he isn't burdened. Burdened? I laughed, sharp and bitter, eyes glinting. That's funny, because I'm the only one in this room with a job. Her face flushed, cheeks burning, eyes glistening with something dark and raw. Oh, please, she spat, voice cracking. We both know you're only with him for the money. Don't act like this is some grand love story. Her voice was venomous, each word dripping with disdain, eyes glinting with something dark. Honestly, she sneered, you should just leave while you still have a shred of dignity left, before he realizes what a mistake he's made. I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. Right, I shot back, voice flat, because nothing says dignity like leeching off your son's marriage. Her breath hitched, cheeks flushing, hands trembling around her glass. Watch your tone, she hissed, voice cold and final, or I'll make sure you regret it. I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. Oh, sweetheart, I purred, voice syrupy. I think that's my line. I leaned forward, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting with something dark and victorious. Well, I purred, voice syrupy, if that's true, then I guess you won't mind if I pay off the mortgage this week, huh? Her breath hitched, eyes wide and raw, lips parting. What? She choked, voice cracking. What are you talking about? I laughed, slow and bitter, eyes glinting. Oh, didn't he tell you? I cooed, voice syrupy. Guess he's not as honest as you thought. My husband's eyes darted, hands trembling, breath hitching, voice of a ghost of a whisper. Wait, you can't just... He stammered, voice cracking. That's not... It's not your money, I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. Funny, I bit out, voice flat, considering I've been the one paying the bills since we got married. Her face twisted, lips curling, eyes dark and raw. You're lying, she spat, voice rising. God, you really are a gold digger. I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. Right, I cooed, voice syrupy, because paying off his debts is definitely a part of my evil master plan. I slid the papers across the table, smooth and final. Bank statements, receipts, loan agreements, all with my name at the top, all signed and dated. His breath hitched, eyes wide and dark and raw, hands trembling as he flipped through each page. You paid off the car? He choked, voice small. And the credit cards? I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. Oh, don't strain yourself, I drawled, voice syrupy. Math was never your strong suit. His face flushed, cheeks burning red, eyes glistening with something dark and raw. I didn't. God, why didn't you tell me? He rasped, voice cracking. I laughed, sharp and bitter, eyes glinting. Because you never asked, I bit out, voice flat, too busy listening to Mommy. Her breath hitched, eyes darting, lips quivering, hands trembling. This is ridiculous, she spat, voice rising. You're just trying to turn him against me. I smiled, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. Oh, sweetheart, I cooed, voice syrupy. I don't need to. You're doing that just fine on your own. I pulled out the last envelope, smooth and final, seal unbroken. A copy of the will, dated 3 months ago, every cent funneled to my husband, every clause signed in neat little flourishes, and at the bottom, my mother-in-law's name, scrawled with a flourish, notarized and stamped. Her breath hitched, eyes wide and dark and raw, throat bobbing. That's not... She choked, voice cracking, hands trembling. How did you... I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. Oh, please, I shot back, voice flat. I might be married to your son, but I'm not stupid. The silence was cold and suffocating, air heavy and sharp, breaths hitching, eyes darting, because the truth was raw and brutal and undeniable. She didn't just want me gone. She wanted everything. But if she thought I'd just slink off and let her have it, she was dead wrong. I stood, heels clicking hard against the tile, breath hitching, hands trembling. The door was cool and smooth beneath my fingers, solid and final, and when I pulled it open, when the air rushed in, cold and sharp and biting, it felt like breathing for the first time in years. Because the truth was simple. If she wanted a war, then a war was exactly what she'd get. The silence was suffocating, air heavy and sharp, eyes darting, breaths shallow. My mother-in-law's face was pale, lips trembling, hands clenched tightly around her glass. My husband stared at the papers, eyes wide and dark and raw, throat bobbing, hands trembling. You've made your point, he rasped, voice brittle, eyes darting. Can we just... stop? I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. Stop? I shot back, voice flat. Funny, that's what I've been wanting you to say to your mother for years. His face flushed, cheeks burning red, hands clenching, voice cracking. It's not that simple. He bit out, voice tight. She's my mother. I can't just... God, you don't understand. I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. Oh, I understand perfectly, I cooed, voice syrupy. It's just easier to blame me than to admit she's been controlling you your whole life. He flinched, shoulders hunching, eyes darting, breath hitching. You don't get it, he rasped, voice cracking. She's all I have. I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. No, I bit out, voice flat. You had me, but you threw that away the second you chose her lies over our marriage. His breath hitched, eyes wide and dark and raw, lips parting, hands trembling. I didn't mean... God, I was just trying to keep the peace. He stammered, voice cracking. Peace? I laughed, sharp and bitter, eyes glinting. Is that what you call letting her walk all over me? Walk all over us? His face crumpled, lips quivering, eyes glistening, hands trembling. I didn't know what else to do, he rasped, voice small and raw. I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. Maybe try growing a spine, I shot back, voice flat. Or is that too much to ask? Her breath hitched, eyes wide and dark and raw, lips parting, hands trembling. You can't talk to him like that, she spat, voice rising. He's my son, he's all I have. I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. Oh, sweetheart, I cooed, voice syrupy. Maybe if you hadn't treated him like an ATM, he'd still want to be your son. Her face flushed, cheeks burning red, eyes glistening, hands trembling. You can't do this, she choked, voice cracking. He won't leave me. He won't. I smiled, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. Maybe, I purred, voice syrupy. But if he doesn't leave, you can bet I will. I stood, heels clicking hard against the tile, breath hitching, hands trembling. The suitcase was heavy in my hand, solid and final, zipper smooth beneath my fingers. His breath hitched, eyes wide and dark and raw, hands reaching out, voice cracking. "Wait, please," he choked, voice small and raw. We can fix this. God, please don't." I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. "Fix this?" I bit out, voice flat. "You couldn't fix a leaky faucet. What makes you think you can fix a marriage?" His face crumpled, lips quivering, eyes glistening, hands trembling. I didn't mean... I just... Please," he rasped, voice cracking. "Please don't leave. I love you. I swear, I love you." I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. "Right," I cooed, voice syrupy. "You love me, just not enough to actually stand up for me." The door was cool and smooth beneath my fingers, solid and final. The air rushed in, cold and sharp and biting, heels clicking hard against the porch, breath hitching. And when I pulled it open, when I stepped out into the night, cold and sharp and endless, it felt like breathing for the first time in years. His voice was small and raw, breath hitching, eyes glistening, hands trembling. "Please," he rasped, voice cracking. "God, please don't go. I'll do anything. Just don't." I scoffed, sharp and bitter, eyes narrowing. "Oh, now you want to fight for me?" I shot back, voice flat. "Funny. Where was all that energy when your mother was trashing me behind my back?" His breath hitched, eyes wide and dark and raw, lips parting, hands trembling. I didn't... God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He choked, voice cracking. I laughed, slow and deliberate, eyes glinting. "Oh, sweetheart," I cooed, voice syrupy. "Save it. I stopped believing your apologies years ago." The silence was suffocating, air heavy and sharp, breaths hitching, eyes darting, because the truth was raw and brutal and undeniable. He didn't just fail me, he betrayed me. But if he thought I'd just slink off and let him keep lying, he was dead wrong. I didn't look back, not even once. Because the truth was simple. If he wanted to choose her, then he could keep her. And I was done waiting for a man too weak to fight for me. Sometimes the hardest battles aren't fought with fists, but with words, with silence, with the strength to walk away. It's easy to pretend that love is enough, that if you just endure a little longer, sacrifice a little more, things will change. But the truth is raw and brutal. Love without respect is just a cage disguised with pretty words. The real tragedy isn't leaving. It's staying and convincing yourself that scraps of affection are enough. It's letting yourself believe that enduring manipulation and cruelty is some twisted proof of loyalty. But loyalty isn't about suffering in silence. It's about standing beside someone who's willing to fight for you, not against you. If someone truly loves you, they won't ask you to shrink, won't guilt you into silence or isolate you from your own strength. They won't hide behind excuses or let others tear you down while they stand back and watch. Real love doesn't ask you to trade your dignity for devotion. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose yourself, even when your voice shakes, even when it feels like tearing your own heart out, because self-respect isn't arrogance. It's survival. It's knowing that you'd rather face the unknown alone than stay somewhere that poisons you slowly. And if that means walking away, then walk. Head high, heels clicking, breath steady, because leaving isn't weakness. It's a declaration that you refuse to be silenced, refuse to be another casualty of someone else's lies. Let them call you selfish. Let them say you were too much, too proud, too ungrateful. Because at the end of the day, it's better to be alone than to be loved conditionally. Better to build a life from scratch than to live in a castle made of cards, ready to collapse at the slightest gust of truth. People who truly care about you won't need you to beg for respect. They won't make you choose between your dignity and their comfort. They won't punish you for having a voice, for demanding honesty, loyalty, equality. The saddest thing isn't losing someone. It's losing yourself while trying to keep them. It's looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person staring back. Eyes tired, shoulders hunched, voice a shadow of what it used to be. That's the real tragedy. When you start to believe that your voice doesn't matter, that your pain's just the cost of keeping the peace. And if they do, then let them go. Because the ones worth keeping are the ones who will reach out, even when it's hard, who will choose you, even when it's inconvenient. They won't need you to set yourself on fire just to keep them warm. In the end, it's not about winning or losing, it's about choosing. Choosing to stop making excuses for those who never deserved your loyalty. choosing to believe that you are enough. Enough to leave, enough to heal, enough to rebuild. And if you ever doubt it, just remember, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who refuse to see your worth, because sometimes the real victory isn't getting even, it's getting out.